There are a few side effects of cannabis that we can deal with and we can work with. Today we're going to talk about the munchies and 5 tips on how to manage the munchies. So when we're looking at the different cannabinoids that we are taking in, we know that THC is appetite stimulating. So often THC is where we're getting our munchies from. But did you know that CBD can be helpful in reducing appetite and or helping to control appetite and weight loss? And THCV, which is another cannabinoid, is being lovingly called the diet weed, which can really help to lessen hunger and control weight loss, help to contribute to weight loss. Also, a terpene called humulene is also being known as an appetite suppressant. And so there's some other options that we can work with. If THC is just taking you into the munchie land, you can look at these other options and see if they can work for you. But if you are experiencing some difficulty with the munchies, there's 5 tips that we can go through that may help to offset that for you. So tip number 1 is pair your cannabis with a meal. So if you're vaping or smoking or taking oil or tincture, you want to take your cannabis about 15 to 30 minutes before your meal so that it's going to be working with your digestion already, and taking a meal is going to just chop those munchies right out of the way because you're going to be eating. If you are taking an edible, then about an hour before a meal is when you want to be taking your dosage. So that's number 1, pair it with a meal. Number 2 is check your hunger. So before you do your cannabis, take your cannabis dose, check in. How is your body feeling? Do you have hunger? Are you hungry? Because cannabis might magnify that, especially if you're using THC. So check and see, how hungry are you? How hydrated are you? And if you are hungry, get your snacks prepared ahead of time so that you've got some healthy things on the go. So things like that are crunchy, have a bit of texture like that, that are hydrating, salty or sweet. So different textures, different flavors. When you are taking your THC, you may be able to actually notice those textures and flavors a little bit more. So plan ahead and make your snack ready for when your munchies come up, instead of last minute scrounging through the fridge or in the cupboard and finding something that may not be quite so healthy. So that's check number 2, check your hunger. Number 3, get active. So get outside, go for a walk, go on an adventure, or do some board games or something where you're moving and you're not thinking about hunger. And if you are hungry, again, deal with that first. But if you're not truly hungry, your body's not hungry, you just have the munchies, then get moving and be prepared. So take your dose and then think about what movement activity you want to do. If you want to go for a walk, have your shoes and have your coat all ready to go so that you don't have to be scrounging around, again, trying to figure out what you're going to do and where you're going to go. So that's number 3, get active. And number 4 is hydrate. So make sure you've got some water or infused fruit water or herbal tea or a matcha or an iced tea, something like that, that's got really nice flavor and that's going to help quench some of the munchies by hydrating. So that's number 4, is hydrate. And number 5 is freshen your mouth. So if none of these things are working, you still have the munchies, go and brush your teeth. And sometimes by clearing our palate, that can reset our appetite and our munchie monitor. So get your toothbrush out and give her an old brush and see how that goes. Sometimes a mint might help as well, but just to really clear out your mouth is very helpful. So those are the 5 tips. Pair it with a meal, check your hunger, get active, hydrate, and freshen your mouth, and see how that goes for you. If you have another tip that you use to tackle the munchies, post it below, and I'd love to hear what your tips and tricks are. We also have other videos on other side effects. I can post those below and how to deal with those. Cottonmouth is another one, so we have a video on cottonmouth as well. I'll include the link for you if you haven't seen it already. Great, well, enjoy and good luck dodging the munchies.